got to just talk about a roundup around the entire league. Dub, I got to hear from you. What's your biggest surprise of the season so far?
The biggest surprise to me of the season is Sam Darnold and how efficient he has been in that Vikings offense. The Vikings are 3-0 people. Here
Yeah,
again, the Vikings are 3-0 people.
and they beat some good teams.
Yeah. Like these guys are no fluke. Justin Jefferson is off to a phenomenal season after receiving that big contract, the highest paid receiver in the league. And then you got Sam Darnold, who was a Carolina Panther, who was a 49er, who was a Jets, and it looked like he has resurrected his career.
For
So it
sure.
makes you question these other teams that had him in the building. Like, did their system fit Sam Darnold's game? I don't know. Apparently not, because he is balling out in Minnesota, and he's actually statistically one of the best quarterbacks in the league right now, top 10. So the
Oh yeah,
Vikings to me is the biggest surprise.
yeah, yeah. And I think it's a testament to O'Connell as a coach as well because
Mm-hmm.
again, you bring in JJ McCarthy, you draft him quarterback of the future. I think they expected him to start the season, which I always think, unless you got a Jaden Daniels on your hand, which we're gonna get to him in a minute. I always think that they push these quarterbacks too hard because they got drafted early to come on the field really soon. We saw it with Bryce Young in Carolina. They should have, we utilized Andy Dalton last season and then gave him the opportunity and gave him the reins this year is what I believe. But he's been under two different coaching staffs. So you see that a lot. But the Vikings have a veteran. And again, they put him in a position where he's comfortable. He's got playmakers around him at almost every position, and they look great. They had a great defense. That's what you need for any quarterback to excel. A great defense and a solid running game to open up the pass. And the Vikings have that. Like you said, Justin Jefferson is out of his mind, playing out of his mind right now, and they look great. I would say the biggest surprise for me is how two surprises. One, the Cincinnati Bengals, just how lackluster the offense showed up in week one against the New England Patriots and how, difficult that game was for them. I think it's going to come back to bite them in the behind later on in the season now that they're 0-3. You got to win these games that are gimme games where you're the favorite. They should have beat Washington. That fourth down play to Terry McLaurin was crazy. Perfect pass by Jaden McDaniels. Great defense by Hill, but perfect pass beats perfect defense. So I think they're the biggest surprise. I didn't anticipate they'd be 0-3. If anything, thought they'd be 2-1 at this point with the loss to the Chiefs. Also, the San Francisco 49ers. Now, I know that Christian McCaffrey is hurt. I think Mason looked really good in week one. We thought that he'd be able to fill the shoes of Christian McCaffrey, but he's looked, he's looked like a rookie since that time period. For 49ers with Brandon Ayuk, the timing looks off. He's dropping passes. Debo Samuels is hurt. George Kittle has been hurt. Again, you can't control the injuries, but on a team that's coming off of a Super Bowl, expecting to compete for another Super Bowl, I feel like it's got to be next man up. I didn't like the performance that I saw from the 49ers against the Vikings. It looked really bad. They really struggled. Not to mention coming off of that loss and coming into this past week playing the Los Angeles Rams where they had a 14-point lead, and that lead was just ate up by a decimated Rams team with no Puka Nacua, with no Cooper Cup, and you still lose to the Rams. So that was a big surprise to me. But again, shout out to the Vikings. I'm not surprised by the Tennessee Titans and Will Levis and the fact that, they got to play their old quarterback this past week when the Green Bay Packers came to town and they got a whooping put on them. That doesn't surprise me at all, but definitely surprised by the Bengals and the 49ers.